Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto you. Peace to the gods and earths. Assalamu alaikum. Peace to the gods and goddesses. Shalom, Hotep. Peace. Imhotep. Hotep. Whatever way you want to put it. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us in our 12 Jews of Islam that peace is a universal greeting which only the righteous abide by bullying. See, we often abide by peace by the force of law, out of fear of the law, the fear of the devil. But when you love Allah, you love righteousness, you love knowledge of self, love doing for self, love your people, you manifest peace as your nature. Peace is not just what you say at the rate of 1,120 feet per second, but it's shown and proven through your actions and deeds. It's shown and proven by what we do and what we don't do. So, beloved, we want to touch on very briefly a concept. You know, many people, when they hear us teach the messenger's message in this age of mess, they get it messed up. Let me be clear. The black man is the original man. The black man is not the ordinary man. Let me repeat that. The black man is the original man, but the black man is not the original ordinary man. Meaning that you can't expect black men to do ordinary things when they went through extraordinary things for the past 6,000 years. There has never been anything ordinary amongst black civilizations. We always take it to that next level. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that we do not have a nature where we are ever satisfied. If we sold 1 million Muhammad Speaks newspaper, praise be to Allah, our people, but we could do better. You see, we meet and overcome all obstacles in our path. We're constantly training and conditioning ourselves to meet and overcome all obstacles in our path. We're trying to figure out, how can we do more? How can we give more? How can we give all that we have and do all in our power to help liberate our people in each and every way, each and every day, you see? So that what you see, black men on the grind, in the struggle, you got to understand the universal forces that he's operating in is comprised on the micro level of protons and electrons, positive forces and negative forces, righteous forces and wicked forces. God has a right hand and a left hand. God has a right foot and a left foot. So sometimes you got to go up the hill. Sometimes you got to go down that hill. But remember, the black man is the original man, but the black man has never been the ordinary man. Peace, peace. I want to pick up where I left off in the car, where I was basically showing and proving that even though the black man is the original man, he is not the original man, the mediocre man, the regular man. There's a difference. See, you look at the black man's paradigm from the perspective of recent story or recent his story instead of our story. So you look at it from the perspective of, oh, Sir John Hawkins and his cousin Sir Francis Drake, they kidnapped Africans and brought them across the transatlantic slave trade. They used, molasses or sugar, rum, and slaves, prisoners of war, and they had this little, listen, family. None of that mediocre stuff matters to the conscious black men on the face of the planet Earth. See, the black men who are conscious, they simply know that the black man is God. See, you're so caught up in imperialism, institutionalized racism. You have been misled by Yaku's technology for so long that you actually think right is wrong and wrong is right. If we turned the planet upside down, you would think that we was wrong. We were really setting it right side up. Because the devil turned your whole world upside down. They got y'all worshiping the devils as though they're the gods. They got y'all thinking that y'all have to die instead of be born and live to be in heaven. They got y'all thinking that right is wrong, that the hero of the people is the villain of the people. They absolutely reversed everything that the original man established for 76 trillion years. But they only did that in a slither of time. They did that within the past 6,600 plus years ago. And they did it based on literature that was given to them by their father, Dr. Yaqub Malik Shabazz. Yaqub means supplanter, a changer. Malik means a master. Shabazz means godly. Shabazz does not mean God. A lot of FOI and MGT and 5%ers think that, they push the Shabazz thing like they're God. Not according to the teachers of Elijah Muhammad. Reread your message to the black man. Reread Master Fard Muhammad's original divine and direct teaching. Stick with the messenger's message to guide yourself through this age of mess. Why I'm saying that? I'm saying that because I want y'all to understand 10, 50, 100 years in the future, the FOIs and MGT going to look at us like we were some spooky, enslaved 5%ers. See, we look at it like, I'm 5%, poor righteous teachers. I do not believe in the teachers of the 10%. It's like, no. Reread the Our Savior Has Arrived 1974. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that 98% of this planet is actually blind to the reality of God. What? Yeah, not. Let's do the math. Islam is mathematics, mathematics, Islam. We could do all that. But let's look at it like this. The 85% mentally deads who worship that which they know not what. Then you have the 10%ers, the rich, the slave makers of the poor, who teach the poor lies. That's 95%. What's left over? The remnant is the 5%ers, the poor righteous teachers, who do not believe in the teachings of the 10%. And the 5% are all wise, and they know who the true and living God is, the black man of Asia. And they teach freedom, justice, and equality to the human family, the planet Earth. But we got a problem in their family. Ain't nothing spooky. Listen, the messenger said 98%. Let's look at this 5. Let's say this is 5. You see this digit, this 5 digits. Okay, let's say this is 20%, 40%, 60%, 80%, 100%. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us 98% don't know the reality of God. So that means only 40% are the 5%ers. What do that mean? 40% know the lessons and the reality of God, but 20, 40, 60% of every FOI, every MGT, every 5%er that you meet, if you talk to them, they are absolutely really spooked out their mind. It took 40 years ago, me personally, I never really thought about it, but 40 years ago, I was building with a God. I'm not going to get into the God's name or attribute or nothing. That's not relevant. But I was building with a good brother, smart brother, real, brother that I personally respected. Know what I mean? And we just busted up, brothers, sometimes we just be building, freestyle, whatever, having fun. And he said something to me that was extremely spooky. I mean, extremely spooky. And hearing it from him, I'm like, I thought he was joking. So I just made a little joke out of it. I'm like, you tripping. Who was that mystery God? And he started building on it. And I was like, wait a minute. Let me ask you something. You see, I'm confused. Let me ask you this. How do you think the original God began? He's like, what you mean how the original? I'm saying like I'm talking about like, say there's no human beings on earth. There's no earth. There is no moon. There are no stars. There is no sun. There is no atoms. I'm just curious as far as your personal interpretation and understanding of the messenger's message in this age of mess. How do you think the black man as the creator began his creation? He told me a fantastical, like it was so, I tried not to laugh, like, because I had so much love and respect for this brother. I live, build, kill, and die for this brother. Straight up. Like, this brother, he was one of them fruit that get in trouble, whatever. Now I mean, like, you know, like, when the wolves come, now I mean, we come with them fangs to protect him. I mean, love this brother. And in other fields, to me, he's an absolute genius. But when I asked him how the universe began, it was so pseudoscience. It was so spooky. I was like, yo, is you serious? And he was like, hurt. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah, I mean, like, I'm like, yo, God. No. Like, yo, I mean, that is like, lad. I mean, like, no. We ain't working with no mystery gods. But, good brother. Love him to death. He physically died, but his works and his wisdom and photos of me and him is even on this Facebook page or whatever. Good bro. Now I mean, love my fruit. Now I mean, see, one of the spooky things that spooky fruit get into is like, you know, all black men are going to be brothers. We're all going to love each other. Come on, man. That's contrary to natural law. I mean, like, if you got brothers and sisters, you know good and well your brothers and sisters sometimes get on your nerves. But one thing about it, if you're true to yourself, you be like, just because I'm mad at my sister, if something happened to her, I'm a lover. I'm going to live, build, kill, and die for her. Even in my dissatisfaction, like, we got a little personal stuff, but we deal with that at home. I mean, I'm not going to let nobody disrespect my sister or hurt my sisters or my brothers. I mean, you know, so don't get it twisted. I mean, you know, we are family, if you will. You know what I mean? But when I asked the God how that first God created himself, long story short, I used to grind him up. I used to grind him up for probably like 10 years about that. Because he learned better as time went on. Like, me personally, I was like, yo, read this, man. I mean, we had our little theological debates and all that. And, you know, I won him over with common sense. But the long story short, you know, the God basically was telling me that in the beginning of time, don't laugh at this, because a lot of people believe this stuff. In the beginning of time, because I was like confused. I was like, well, I'm trying to understand from your perspective. In the beginning of time, before there's matter, how did the original man exist? He basically literally told me, I'm not quoting him, I'm just paraphrasing it. I don't remember the exact quote. This was back in like 1984 or something like that. You know what I mean? So what's that? Like 40 something years ago. But he basically told me, he said, well, back then, the black man was real small. I tried not to laugh, but I was like, what you mean real small? He said the black man back then, he was like in his atomic form. I was like, okay. On his side, that makes sense. I was like, okay, maybe he's great, teach me something. You know what I mean? I'm humble in the struggle. He's like, the black man back then was like a tiny atom. So I was like, I wanted to cover what the officer's manual teach us, the 6 essential elements. Who, what, where, when, how, and why. I wanted to know the math for this because what he was saying was kind of makes sense. And I'm humble enough, like, yo, it's not that I could have been wrong. Before I met him, I was wrong a whole bunch of times. I mean, I'm going to be wrong in the future, So I'm like, maybe he got something that, can help me out. So I'm like, wait a minute, let me understand this. When you say the original black man, the first man was small, what do you mean by small? He said, no, back then, imagine pure blackness. There was a black man. So I was like, okay. I absolutely believe the original man is the Azad black man to make it on the created planet Earth, God of the universe. I was like, well, what do you mean by a black man? Like, do you mean like a physical man? He said the black man, this is what he explained to me. He said the black man has always been a physical black man. So now I'm confused because the math and science is like some pseudo stuff. So I'm like, well, whoa. Let's go back to what the messenger teaches us. So I was like, let me show you something. So I took him to Our Savior Has Arrived 1974 and showed him the Honorable Elijah Muhammad Savior's Day, where he basically explained to us that the physical black man has been physically on this planet for the past 76 trillion years. There was no black men on Earth 77 trillion years ago. Listen, we're in 2025. This is April, the month of April. There's a lot of pseudoscientists out there. This is the internet. I want you to understand they are all lying. What you mean they're all lying? I'm saying to you, the true followers of the messenger's message in this age of mess. It's real simple. Simply ask them, where did the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teach that? Ask them a simple question like, yo, this crazy minister I leave, he be all in his science stuff and whatever lessons, whatever. He said that you cannot show and prove your claim of this mystery God, or that the black man was physically on this planet 77 trillion years ago. You claim that the black man has no beginning or end. I'm just curious. Where do the Honorable Elijah Muhammad say that black man was on the earth 77 trillion years ago? They can't do it. The only reason I'm doing this is because I want to just simply set the record straight. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us this message is not for the cowards, nor the faint of heart. So, as a captain of the FOI back in the 80s, one of the things that I realized a long time ago, see, back in the day, it was a unique situation. We was under a unique paradigm. And I noticed how fruit had a system where if you did something to one fruit, you did it to all the fruit. That's crack unity. But the problem with that is the messenger said this message is not for the cowards. So I used to literally talk to certain fruit that used to have beefs with people. And they used to, come to me, bro, mister, I'm tired of this dude. I'm going to do this, that, and the other, and this, and they bark. And, the Holy Quran teaches us Allah does not like the squealing of a pig, the hissing of snakes, the barking of dogs, the braying of asses. So I wasn't impressed by none of that. I mean, because those that say don't do. Those that do not say. I met real fruit. they do not say. They do. I pray to my Allah, gain a person that's from Muhammad. Do not ever in your life underestimate the real fruit or get them confused with these spiritual cream puffs. Real fruit do real things. I mean, so you know, brothers used to come at me with all kind of stuff. But I quickly realized they selling wolf tickets. So I was like, I used to always like try to, you know, they used to come to me complaining, oh, brother, such and such did this, I'm going to do that. Oh, the 85% did this, I'm going to do that. Oh, the devil did this, I'm going to do that. And I'm a minister, I'm a responsible party. I'm like, I don't want them in trouble and that. So I'm like, oh, brother, you know what I mean? You got to be patient. This is it. And then I start peeping, wait a minute. These spiritual cream puffs are saying that which they do not, as the messenger puts it. So Allah inspired me to reverse my mathematics. I was like, nah, we want the smoke. I mean, we want all the smoke. I mean, you know, it's like somebody say something, handle that. I mean, so they come to me barking, brother so this brother, this Billy did this, the devil did that, whatever. The 10% just said, what is you talking to me for? Handle your business. And you know what would happen? 99% of, now you got some real wolves out there, alpha males out there, some guards. But 99% of them, they be like, they come to me like half hour later, a couple hours later. Prime Minister, I was thinking, and you right. You know what I mean? I can't let my emotions. I was saying to myself, you was spiritual. You wasn't going to do anything anyway. Because if you wouldn't have came to me. What you come to me for? I mean, like me, I'm a minister. If I got I'm not writing Chicago. I'm not writing the Honorable Brother Minister Louis Farrakhan. I'm not writing the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Master Fard Muhammad, the Mother Plane. I'm not praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm going to handle that. Plain and simple. I'm not calling the captain, fruit up. I need some help. No, it's like 40 years, fruit be like, yeah, I sold you with them for 40 years. No, I never ever can recall where he came to the fruit to protect him. Never happened. Because my thing is like, man, it's an insult to me. I mean, you handle your BI, you handle your BI. Win, lose, or draw, you handle your BI. I mean, so I'm not impressed with all this, you know what I mean, pseudo, we out here playing with steel and... See, one thing I want the young boys to understand about the belly of the beast. I'm talking about the guts. I mean, the small intestines, the big intestines. When you in the belly, when you in the county, the state, the private, the federal penitentiary, everybody's a gangster. See, you think that in your little hood, it's like a weightlifter. He like, yeah, I bench press 200 pounds. I mean, I'm strong. You know what I mean? Yeah, you strong because everybody in your hood, they weigh 90 pounds, 140 pounds. You got some real dudes out there that's what they do for a living. They look at you like, nah, homie. I mean, they bench press the weights and you at the same time. I mean, so you know, you gotta be, as our lesson teaches us in our fruit lesson, that a fruit is humble and submissive. See what I'm saying? But our conduct is militant. See, we humble and submissive, but our conduct is militant. I mean, like we like, oh, you think I'm one of them spooky fruit. It's not that I'm afraid to die. I'm not afraid to die. You should understand, I'm not afraid to kill. It's a difference there, family. Like I don't, we don't argue on the door. Like, see, real dudes in the belly of the beast that been there 10, 20, 30, 40 years, they be like, we don't argue on no doors. We don't argue on the internet. Like, yo, that's some pseudo stuff to us. It's a whole different atmosphere. We be on the tip like, nah, I'm going to that state, that city, that county, that neighborhood, that house, and I'm going to personally talk to him. Yo, God. I mean, that's how men deal with men. But, in this age of technology, I mean, a lot of our people got this stuff distorted and twisted, and it's just spooked out their minds, if you will. Know what I mean? So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us in Message to the Black Man in 1965, quote, "This message is not for the cowards." Know what I mean? It's for the Talib Wazirs. Talib means students, Wazir means ministers. The student ministers of al-Haqi, or the reality. Now, we don't think that our history began in shackles or chains or handcuffs. That's not the black man's story. But the black man's story began in the very origins of creation itself. The 5%, the poor righteous teachers, are the very root of civilization. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us there is not a mystery God. We may think there is a mystery God, but it is only the black print of mathematical brilliance that shows and proves the reality of what we teach. When we say that we are the 5% poor righteous teachers who do not believe in the teachings of the 10%, and are all wise and know who the true and living God is, and that we teach freedom, justice, and equality to the human family of planet Earth, we don't look at this as a magical, mythical theosophy or theology. We look at it as our culture, our nature, our very way of life. This is not only what we do, this is simply who we are. Those of you that know me know I stand on this. I have stood on this through trials and tribulations, persecutions, whatever. I mean, it should let you know, wait a minute, if he was willing to not die. See, you can't, see a lot of people, I'm willing to die for the truth. No, I'm not Jesus. Jesus died. No, Jesus should have been ready to kill for the truth. See, Barabbas and them was like, yo, we ready to kill for this truth. See what I'm saying? It's a difference. Because what happened? They killed Jesus, and what happened? The people remained in the same systematic, institutionalized racism, oppression, tyranny, and chaos before Jesus ever came. But Barabbas and them like, we ain't working with that spooky stuff. Now, when they came and crucified Jesus, a lot of people forget he was crucified between two thieves. You see what I'm saying? One of them was Barabbas. And since it was a so-called holy day or holiday, politically, they wanted to kill Jesus, but out of envy and jealousy, they feared the people. So when he was up on that cross, the crossroads between truth and falsehood, they was like, the devil was the COINTELPRO was like, all right, we got to release one of them. Who do y'all want us released? Jesus or Barabbas? And out of envy and jealousy, the masses, the 85%, because they was brainwashed by all of the nonsense they seen on social media. Social media had them thinking about powers outside of themselves. Social media had them worshiping a white Jesus, a black Jesus, a law somewhere beyond the sun, moon, and stars. They believed that they were descendants and slaves of ancient aliens from a distant planet somewhere beyond the sun. All kind of nonsense, pure lies. So, of course, they was like, oh, give us Barabbas. Crucify that Jesus. I mean, throw that joker under the bus. I mean, and, this is the symbolism of the substance. And, in 2025, we got Jews that'll take and go to the walls of Jerusalem. You see them banging that head on the walls of Jerusalem. You got Christians that physically get on their knees and they be like, Lord Jesus. You got a billion Muslims that time their watches and clocks and they be like, oh, it's time for Fajr, Thor, Ars, Maghrib, Isha. And they'll take away the spiritual prayer and bring in organized religious prayer. And they be like, banging their head on the prayer rugs, on the ground, they'll wash up with sand, dust, whatever. They be like, I'm making wudu, extinja, maghrib, I'm making tayammum, whatever. I mean, but when you take and ignore their ignorance, their spookism, and look at what do the Holy Quran teaches us? The Holy Quran teaches it is not. I'm going to say it again. It is not righteousness if you stand up, dua, or bow down, rakat. It is not righteousness if you stand up or bow down or face the east or the west. But it is righteousness that you submit and that you believe in the law, and you believe in his messengers, and you believe in the angels, and you believe in the books of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. See, the spiritual part, people forget because they get caught up in rituals and symbols and languages, and they get caught up in different methods or schools of thought. So, just a few days ago, brother sent me a little John, and it was like, I was like insulted, and I was going to respond, but something told me, nah, don't even feed in that technology. But they basically was like challenging the Nation of Islam. They hold a whole conference trying to debunk Master Muhammad, Al-Balaj Muhammad, and the Nation of Islam in Philadelphia. I mean, and it's like a real Muslim, a true Muslim, knows that the Holy Quran teaches us not to say thou art not a Muslim, because you don't know what's in that brother or sister heart. They could be more Muslim than you. They can be more Muslim than you, family. But they hold a whole conference without inviting Brother Minister Rodney Muhammad. They definitely ain't calling me. It'd be elementary stuff to a true follower of Al-Balaj Muhammad's teachings. Know what I mean? But it's like, I don't even think I would go because I realized that the 85% mentally dead are so mentally dead. See, the 85% don't realize that when you teach the raw like say I was to go to Philly and debunk the spooky stuff they talking about. This is how the streets are. They are so spooky that a young spooky Muslim or an old spooky Muslim a Muslimina, would literally be like, oh, Astaghfirullah, I gotta physically kill him. No mystery God is going to do it. They physically would do it. Now, this is how Muslims and people that go on crusades and how Jews think like, oh, I'm doing the will of Yahweh when we kill all of the people, kill all of the horses and the camels and burn all the cities down. They so you gotta be careful with these 85% mentally deads. I'm not spooky. I'm not stupid either. I mean, so I'm on the tip, like, I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna go to Philly, but I'm gonna take my black bag. I don't want to have to show and prove that there's no mystery God, because if I show and prove, it's going to get ugly up in here. So I don't do all. I'd be like, nah, I got too much love and respect for our people. I'd be like, nah, this sister is really a sincere sister. This brother is really a sincere brother. They just mentally dead right now. They blinded to the haq, the reality. They believe that white makes right. They believe that Allah is al-Nur, some bright white light somewhere beyond the sun, moon, and stars, sitting up on a giant throne of water, or arsh. They don't take and realize the Holy Quran teaches us in Surah 3, like, yo, there's parts of the Quran that's symbolic, and there's parts of the Quran that's made plain, but there's some people that takes the parts that's made plain as though they're symbolic, and there's people that take the parts that's symbolic as though it's made plain. They forget see, I'm not coming with some Kaffir stuff. I want y'all to understand some. I'm gonna just do this and like try to do this in 2 minutes for you. One, Master Fard Muhammad and Al-Balaj Muhammad always taught us, and it can be verified in Message of Black Man in America 1965, that we always believe that there's a power higher than man. Step 2, Supreme Wisdom by the Al-Balaj Muhammad 1957. He always taught us that we only believe in one creator of creation. He wrote a whole chapter like too many gods. Like people get that part confused. We believe in one God or one creator of creation. All right. We believe, as the Al-Balaj Muhammad teaches us in Message to the Black Man 1965 and countless other places, 1972, Theology of Time, for example, in the Pittsburgh Courier, from the 1950s after Malcolm X, Al-Balaj Muhammad took over and published Mr. Muhammad Speaks. Before Muhammad Speaks newspaper, he was writing in the Pittsburgh Courier, in the Detroit Press, Los Angeles Times, different pages. He basically explained to us, like, listen, Prophet Muhammad is the last prophet. Not only was Prophet Muhammad black, he was dark-skinned. Not only was Jesus black, Jesus was a dark-skinned black man. That's the messenger's message in this age of man. Many FOI spook that stuff up. Personally, I know FOI scholars, FOIs that have been in the nation for 20, 40, 60 years, and they believe that Prophet Muhammad was white. Now, people like Ivy Van Sertima, people that study the reality of this stuff, they be like, yo, no, Prophet Muhammad absolutely was not a white man. The Arabs, the root Rab, like, you notice the Jews be like, Rabbil Alamin in Arabic, you know what I mean? The Lord of the worlds. The Jews don't say Rabbil Alamin, the rabbi. They say the rabbi is the Lord. That's a human being. That's a white man that they say is a Jew. We simply be like, yo, y'all know the real Jews are black folks. And people be thinking like, oh, y'all trying to copy off white people. It's like, yo, Elvis Presley copying off of black folks. Like, no, black folks are the original musicians that did that. Elvis studied them and applied it. He got the money, he got the fame, but no, that's their stuff. I mean, see, we get so confused in the Matrix. We be like, I'm talking about, you got some black people that literally be like, oh, MS-13. I mean, this, that, and the other. And it's like, yo, no, family. MS-13 are black people. They're Native American Indians, if you will. I mean, it's like, that don't mean that black people don't fight amongst themselves. We've been fighting amongst ourselves since 66 trillion years ago. 66 trillion years ago, a physical black man tried to destroy all of us. That's how a moon was made. 6,600 years ago, Dr. Yakub was like, his thing was like, he send you to the cremator, get you cremated. It feeds you the wild animals. I mean, it chop your head off. I mean, so it ain't nothing sweet like ancient Kemet, Black Egypt. No, they like went to war with the people of Nubia, the Sudan. I mean, they went to war with the Kushites, the Ethiopians. They be like, yo, no, we will crush black folks, even though we're black folks. So we're not blaming all of our troubles on white folks. We're like, no, we had problems trillions of years before white people was grafted. I mean, that don't negate what white folks did. I mean, that don't negate the word of the original man and writing that the devil would rule for 6,000 years until Master Muhammad came and taught us the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of ourselves. Know what I mean? But it helps us to better understand ourselves in the struggle in which we live, family. Know what I mean? So we want you to understand the metamorphical change that takes place in the brain of the black man. This isn't mythology. This is universal mathematics, spirituality, biology, sociology, economics, theology, and psychology, all wrapped up with a nice FOI bow tie for you to teach you in plain language and a caption that the black man is God. Let's build in a cipher of the messenger's message that is going to guide us through this age of mess. Assalamu alaikum. I'm your brother in the struggle, Brother Minister Ali-Fallah, Supreme Angel AA. To learn more, visit our website at www.noireport.online. And please subscribe to our channel. Patronize black businesses, family, at #NOIReport. For now, the struggle continues. Peace.